This very well packaged parcel contains a few items from Goovis. I have already made at least 3 videos about Goovis products, and I already reviewed 2 of these items in detail, so I don't really want to repeat myself. If you're interested, you may watch those older videos, however I will give a brief refresh. The 2 items I am talking about are Media Player EMEA model D4H1 and Goovis HDMI to Type-C adapter. I'll start with the adapter, so basically this is a power injector. It takes output from HDMI. You also connect power from a power brick or a power bank to this adapter through a Type-C connection, and there is also another Type-C connection which combines the video signal with the added power. With modern devices, you don't really need this adapter, at least as much as you did before. However, in most cases, Goovis adds this adapter for free, and it's nice to have anyway, since in some situations you still need it, but more on that later. The media player is a set of 2 things. The media player itself, which is powered by Type-C connection. However, it also comes with a power bank, which is able to power the device on its own, and you charge the power bank with a Type-C cable as well. The player is more or less your normal Android TV box, which you connect to a display using an HDMI connection, and the player has internal memory, a microSD slot, and Wi-Fi capabilities, and this essentially turns your non-smart TV or a computer display, or a smart TV but with a different operating system, into Android TV. You can watch streaming services, you can install apps from Google Play Store, you can stream to this box and all those good stuff. It also comes with a remote, which is connected to the player using Bluetooth, so you don't have to point it at the player. The remote also has several quick access buttons to launch most popular streaming services, and in general, it's a very nice little Android TV box. However, as I said, I've showed all of that previously, and if you want to learn more, go see previous videos on Goovis. What is new here is this box which says Goovis Art. Inside, there is a very nice made hard-shell fabric carrying case. I do own 3 more devices from Goovis. They all come in similar carrying bags. However, this new Goovis Art is by far the smallest of them. And the device inside is also tiny compared to the rest of the Goovis items I have. All of these are stereoscopic 3D head-mounted displays, basically goggles that you strap to your head, which are capable of displaying both 3D content and your normal 2D content. And I was asked in the comments if you can trust Goovis. Do they deliver their devices? Well, I have 4 of them accumulated over 2 years or so, and I suppose that confirms that Goovis devices are real. I personally had no issues with any of them, however, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can trust this brand. Since Goovis is a boutique company, they manufacture and sell very few of those devices. And unlike Sony, for example, who manufactured 2 million of PSVR 2 headsets and managed to sell only 200,000 of those, or Meta, who invested over 60 billion into the Oculus project, Goovis doesn't have that financial capability, and they may just disappear at any given moment. Nevertheless, this product is very real, and I'm continuing the review. As I told multiple times in previous reviews of Goovis products, this is not a VR headset. A VR headset usually has a wide field of view covering most of your vision and also some type of head tracking. This device has nothing of that. It has a relatively narrow field of view and also no head tracking whatsoever. That means when you put this on and you rotate your head, the image goes with you. It doesn't change depending on your head movement. So basically, this is no different from staring onto any screen, like your TV or monitor. The difference is, Goovis Art is very small. You can easily fit it in your pocket. However, when you put them on and you look inside them, it projects a virtual screen, and the sensation, for me at least, is like looking at a 50 or 60-inch screen from about 2 meters away. And you basically have that screen in your pocket, which you can carry around, and it is also capable of showing stereoscopic 3D. However, conceptually, Goovis Art is very different even from previous Goovis products. Unlike those, Goovis Art doesn't have any kind of shroud around the oculars, so there is nothing preventing the light from coming inside your vision, and also there is nothing separating you from the outside world. So the idea is you can still see your surroundings and interact with people while wearing this headset, which makes it an open head-mounted display. So basically, how it works, you strap it to your head with the included band, and the only pressure point is your forehead. This is the only way where this device connects with your body. The goggles themselves do not come in contact with your face and put no pressure onto it. There is a soft cushion to make your forehead comfortable. It is attached using magnets so that you can easily remove the pad and, for example, wash it with soapy water, without subjecting the rest of the device and electronics inside to the risk of water damage. Then you flip the goggles towards your eyes. There are two swivels which give enough freedom to comfortably adjust the goggles, and in this regard they are very similar to those high magnification glasses that some jewelers and some dentists, for example, use. Since there is no shroud around the oculars, you can use this device with your normal prescription glasses. However, you don't have to, since as all the Goovis devices I have at least, this also has the inbuilt diopter correction to adjust for your particular eyesight. The range is from -3.5 to +0.5, and each eye could be adjusted separately. The interpupil distance could also be adjusted, and in this case you just slide the sides of the device to the left or to the right. The range is from 58 mm to 64 mm, and again each eye can be adjusted separately. The oculars are rectangle aspherical lenses of very decent quality, and they are protected by caps. You should remove the caps before you use the device, and I also strongly recommend you to avoid having direct sunlight shining inside the lenses, since this may permanently burn out spots on the inside screens. The screens inside are two micro OLED Full HD displays. I think they are manufactured by some Chinese manufacturer, not by Sony, but anyway, they are very decent. The colors are bright, the brightness range is very wide, and in general, these are very nice looking screens. They don't support HDR though, and the maximum refresh rate is 60 Hz. The lenses give you about 40 degrees of field of view when you look inside. There is also a sensor that detects when you move away the goggles from your face, and it automatically turns off the screens to prolong their lifespan. Speaking of lifespan, unlike the previous more bulky Goovis headsets, this one doesn't seem to have a cooling fan, and since the screens are OLED, overheating theoretically may lower the lifespan of the screens, but your mileage may vary. On the front of the device there is a LED strip which glows white when the device has power. The controls are on top of the goggles. You have a brightness rocker, a volume rocker, a lock switch to block the controls, a technical USB Type-C port in the middle covered with a plug. This is supposedly for either daisy chaining several of these devices or connecting accessories, but I am yet to see any of those accessories. And also a button which switches 2D and 3D modes. As I said, this device is capable of showing stereoscopic image, and it does a very decent job of displaying 3D image. You have flyouts, you have pop-outs, all those kinds of stuff. The only problem is, this device only supports side-by-side 3D. I've explained the difference in much detail in my previous videos, and the shortened version of that is, when we talk proper 3D, it is sometimes referred to as Blu-ray 3D, you basically have two versions of the same movie shot from a slightly different angle, one for each eye. And when you play back that double movie, one of the two streams goes to one eye and the other stream goes to another eye. The good thing about this is you get proper full resolution on each eye. The downsides are, first of all, the equipment must support playing back 3D movies, and another issue, you basically have two movies. That means such content will use twice the bandwidth or twice the space on your storage for a single movie. A different approach for 3D content is side-by-side. Basically, you have a single movie, however, the image is divided into two parts, left and right, one for each eye, so you don't need any special equipment to play or broadcast such movies, since they are basically normal movies, and they use roughly the same bandwidth and roughly the same storage space. The problem is that the images will be compressed horizontally. That means that you get the full vertical resolution, however, each image will have half the horizontal pixels to make two images fit on a single frame, and basically when you press this button on the goggles, they will separate this single image into two eyes and also stretch them back horizontally. So the image will look normal, not shrinked, however, you will have basically half the resolution. So this particular device, Goovis Art, only supports side-by-side 3D. It doesn't support the full Blu-ray 3D as some other Goovis models do. And also, even though each eye is looking at its own Full HD screen, the total resolution of this device is still Full HD. Since most marketing materials tend to tell you that this is a 4K device, but no, it's two screens Full HD each. They don't combine their resolution. This is still a Full HD device. Connecting this device to your source is pretty simple if the source is new enough, and a little bit more complicated if your source device is a bit older. So basically, this is a true Type-C device. That means that ideally, you only need one cable, Type-C cable, which will carry everything. The power supply for the device, the video input, which is DisplayPort 1.2, and the audio. Even though the device is very small, it does have onboard speakers. There are two speaker grills in the forehead pad hiding two speakers which output stereo sound. It also has a standard 3.5mm jack out where you can connect your headphones, for example. Keep in mind that this is an output. This device doesn't have any inputs, so there is no microphone, and even if you connect a headset with mic to this port, you won't be able to use the microphone. So if you need a microphone, you will need an external one. If we go back to that player that I showed in the beginning of the video, the connection will be a little bit more complicated. You will need that supplied HDMI adapter. Since the player only has an HDMI out, it doesn't have a Type-C out. However, the player is a bit special and it is able to provide power for the headset through the HDMI connection. It's a deviation from HDMI standard, and basically this is the only device which can do that. So to connect the player, you need to connect HDMI from the player to the adapter and then connect the Goovis headset to the appropriately marked Type-C port on the adapter, and that's it. The headset will be powered from the power bank that is included with the player. For any other HDMI connection, for example your computer or your Blu-ray player, you will also need to plug in power, for example from a wall USB adapter, to the adapter to provide power for the goggles, since standard HDMI is not able to provide enough current to power these goggles. That said, it doesn't mean that this player will fry up your TV or monitor. If you connect it to them through the HDMI cable, it will work as a pretty normal source in that case. However, if you have a modern device, for example a modern laptop, like a MacBook, a Dell, or a Lenovo, or an Asus, with a Type-C connection capable of displaying Alt-DP protocol, which is DisplayPort, or a recent portable gaming console like a Steam Deck, an Asus ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, or MSI Claw, or any other similar device, which all do have a Type-C connection with video out capabilities, the only thing you need is a single Type-C to Type-C cable, which is provided in the box with the Goovis headset. So basically, you plug in a single Type-C cable to the headset, you plug the other end of the cable to your device, and you're good to go. This connection will supply everything, power, video, and audio, to the Goovis for you to enjoy the content. You can watch 2D content or 3D content in side-by-side mode. And that includes playing video games that do support side-by-side 3D. However, in certain cases, the connection may be a little bit more complicated. For example, I also own this retro gaming console, which is basically a handheld console running Android and a bunch of emulators. It does support video out through the only Type-C connection it has for everything, but unfortunately it failed to work directly with the Goovis Art. I think the problem is the device doesn't provide enough power for the Goovis Art to work correctly. So I had to improvise. I connected a Type-C to HDMI video out adapter, which I had lying around, to the console, connected that adapter through a male-to-male HDMI adapter to the Goovis power injector adapter, connected the power from a power bank to this Goovis adapter, and connected the Goovis Art headset to this Goovis adapter. And in that way, the whole setup worked. It's a little bit messy, you have too many adapters, basically dongle world, but it works. And moreover, Goovis has addressed this issue, and they do sell a special power bank. It is basically a power bank with Type-C pass-through, which adds the necessary capacity to power up the Goovis Art headset, and it is mostly directed at portable console users, for example those owning a Nintendo Switch. Naturally, I wanted to show one, that's why I had to wait a couple months until this accessory became available. As always with Goovis, it comes very well packaged, with lots of dampening material, so nothing will happen in transit. The device itself is also in a box, but for some reason it says that inside is a wireless cast with a power bank, which is not actually true. There is a power bank inside, the same Goovis power bank, which comes with other accessories and is compatible with all of them, so this is kind of a Goovis ecosystem at this point. However, the label on the module says that it is a Type-C hub. It doesn't have any wireless connectivity and no wireless video transmission protocols such as Miracast or Chromecast. You also don't have to use it with a power bank. As with other Goovis players and accessories, it can be powered directly from a USB. However, since this device is supposed to be used with a portable game console on the go, you will probably want to use it with so you won't be tethered to the wall. And using this device is that simple. It comes with a Type-C lead, which is not very long, but as always with Goovis, it's a quality USB Type-C cable. You plug this cable to any device that is capable of transmitting video and audio as a DisplayPort connection from a Type-C port. For example, a portable game console. So you connect the port of the console to a port which is labeled Video In on the Goovis module. And there is another Type-C connection which is labeled Video Out, and it also has a small picture of the glasses. That's where you connect the Goovis headset. Any Goovis headset with a Type-C connection will do, and they have quite a few of those. And that's it. You are now set up. This device solves two problems. The first one is when the video out device does not provide sufficient power through Type-C port to be able to power on the goggles. And the second problem that this device solves is the battery life. Since even if the console or whatever you're connecting these goggles to is able to power them, that will obviously drain the console's battery faster. And you probably don't want that on the go, so this power bank will power the goggles without relying on the battery of the portable device, and thus the whole setup will last longer. The only thing worth mentioning here is that this is a very dumb device. And to have an image inside the goggles, you need to supply some video output. The goggles will not even turn on until you have some video signal coming into this device. This is normal and this is how it works. So in general, Goovis Art headset is a very interesting device. It's not a virtual reality headset. It's not an augmented reality headset. That means you cannot see through the goggles in this case. However, since there is no shroud, you can still see around the goggles to see what's going on. And this is important for many reasons, from social to safety ones. And there is an obvious advantage that since you don't have this shroud around the goggles, whenever for some reason you have to glance at your keyboard, your mouse, your joystick, or your gamepad, or whatever you are using, you can do that freely by just looking down. You don't need to put off the goggles, you don't need all those fancy cameras inside the goggles, you can just lower your eyes, and you will see your keyboard or mouse or gamepad. And I think one of the use cases for this device is a monitor replacement for work. As I already said, this is a very, very tiny device and also a very light one, which you can fit in any bag or pocket. However, it does act as a very decent replacement for about a 50-inch monitor, and moreover, it is very comfortable to use. I've spent several hours working in these goggles as a display replacement and didn't notice any increased fatigue or any other issues. The image is in focus across all of the virtual screen. There is no smearing even at the edges of the screen, and text is perfectly readable. And one of the most important things about this is it acts as a normal HDMI or DisplayPort 1.2 device. You don't need any special software, you don't have any limitations, you just plug it in into a Type-C port or an HDMI port via the included adapter, and it shows up in the system as a normal display. Yet another interesting use case is connecting these goggles to a drone controller for FPV flying. Modern drone controllers do have a Type-C connection and they do support video out through this connection, and you can connect Goovis Art directly to this port on the controller and it will work, enabling first point of view flying. The difference to a traditional FPV goggles is that you don't have the shroud, so you can still see the image from the drone camera as well as the surroundings, the controller, and everything else. It is also very hard to see anything on the controller screen in bright sunlight, and these goggles can help you with that. And this also works for any situation where you need a viewfinder in broad daylight, for example for your camera. So yeah, this is a very niche device, not a mainstream one, however, it is a decent device. If you are interested to purchase one, you will find the links in the description. Follow the link in the description.
I am the god of YouTube!
Like, subscribe, jingle bells.